Touchdown, Florida State. Hey, Seminole fans, it's time for another edition of the Osceola Podcast.
This is Jerry Kutz, publisher of the Osceola. I had the opportunity to sit down with Jeff Culhane, the new voice of Seminole sports for football and basketball. Jeff and I talk about the daunting task of taking over for the legendary Gene Deckerhoff, as well as his expanded role as Director of Broadcasting, where he'll produce daily shows, weekly features, and podcasts to cast a spotlight on FSU student-athletes and coaches in each program. I hope you'll take a listen.
Okay, Jeff. So how you doing? Where you at?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Yeah, we're checking off all the boxes of life right now. My wife is set to have our second child any day. And so we're kind of, yeah. So we're waiting for that to go down, and then obviously the moving and getting into Tallahassee. And so we're excited, man. We can't wait to get to work. Fired up.
Well, this was quite a national search that they did. I know they got a lot of auditions from around the country for this position.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being the guy selected?
Well, Jerry, it's a huge honor, and a tremendous opportunity, and really thankful for guys like Michael Alford and Caleb Swan and Peter Collins, Stephen Ponder, who are all part of the process, and Tom Bowman and Chris Ferris and Adam Witten at Learfield on the selection committee, and they led the search and got the applicants to Michael and to Caleb and those folks. And so, there's no surprise that it is or was as competitive of a process as you can get, because, Florida State is a special place. And we talk about blue blood programs and some of the great universities and great athletic departments in the country. Florida State University is right at the top of the list, and to me, it's the greatest brand in college sports and one of the great brands in all of sports, period, as well. And so, just honored by it, and to follow up a legend like Gene Deckerhoff is a great opportunity and an honor, and certainly a massive challenge that I'm going to attack in an effort to try and carry on his excellence in my own way here in the near future.
Jeff, let me ask you about some of your background. And I know that you've been in a really powerful program at North Dakota State, and then you were at Nebraska and at West Virginia as well, correct? Correct,
yeah. Spent 6 years in Lincoln from 2007 to 2013. 3 years in Morgantown from 2013 to 2016, and been here in Fargo since June of 2016. And so been lucky, Jerry, been fortunate to be at some places where the fan base is passionate about all things within those programs, with the Cornhuskers, the Mountaineers, and certainly here with the Bison. And, those experiences helped mold me and I guess form me along my journey here to get to Tallahassee and get to Florida State, and love interacting with the fans, love engaging those folks in any way I can, whether it's what platform it is, it doesn't matter. And it's been a blast to get the feedback from Seminole fans and the Seminole family here over the last few days. And so it's been a fun road, and excited for the next step in the journey at FSU.
At Nebraska, what was your function there? What was your role there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Swiss Army knife. I came in and my official title was producer of the Husker Sports Network. Did some things on the air and behind the scenes with our talk show there, Sports Nightly, which aired from 6 to 9 p.m. on a 25-station statewide network Monday through Friday. Was in charge of making sure everything behind the scenes with all of our broadcasts performed flawlessly. 12.5-hour network football broadcast game day there. men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball that are all aired on the radio network in Lincoln. And then it morphed into some different things. Started to be a part of the football broadcast, hosting pregame shows, the postgame call-in show, Big Red Reaction, which was a huge hit, still is a huge hit for Husker fans there. Created, produced, sold, and hosted the Nebraska High School Scoreboard Show on Friday nights for a handful of years while I was in Lincoln, which was just as it sounds, a high school football scoreboard show on our statewide network that our affiliates loved on Friday evenings, and eventually morphed into baseball play-by-play with Nebraska baseball, and then took over the full-time hosting job with Sports Nightly in 2011 for 2 years. And so a little bit of a Swiss Army knife, and it's kind of morphed into some different roles before heading to Morgantown.
Before we go to Morgantown, do you see yourself duplicating some of that content here on the Florida State property?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I think there's huge upside from an audio standpoint with Seminole Sports Properties. I think there's a lot of things we're looking at under that Director of Broadcasting title, and talking with Caleb Swan and with Michael Alford and the coaches, about telling the success stories of Seminole student athletes and the coaches, and creating some fun, exciting content ideas. There's certainly going to be some podcasting happening, some video podcasting going on, in different ways to give Seminole fans a look behind the curtain to a certain degree. And it's a fan base that we all know is as passionate about the Seminoles and the Noles as anything out there. And so we're gonna feed that hunger and provide some different items their way, not only football but all of the the great programs, some amazing women's sports, Olympic sports at Florida State University, as you know, and we're gonna highlight all of those things as best we can.
That will be well received. Let's move to West Virginia.
Okay.
What was your role when you got to West Virginia?
Yeah, it was an interesting process. It was a somewhat of a late acquisition by IMG College at the time they were called, before they merged with Learfield, where I literally arrived, Jerry, in Morgantown the Monday of game week in 2013, and we really had to get to work, and we literally built a property and a radio network from the ground up, with brand new radio affiliates and ways to listen and get involved. And that was a first year that was certainly very interesting, and an education process on all of us that were involved. But really proud of the work we did there, and building that into now a very successful property for Learfield in 2022. I know they're having a lot of success, and my role, I was football pregame and postgame host on the football broadcast, women's basketball play-by-play, baseball play-by-play. And I filled in for Tony Caridi briefly. I didn't do many games. I did a men's basketball game, football spring game for him, because he's a machine and gets it done no matter what the schedule looks like. So sort of an assistant director of broadcasting title in Morgantown is how I would put it. And, the big thing for us was Jerry, we literally started from the ground up. And so had a lot of experience in over communicating with people of how to listen, where to listen, developing some content ideas there, and some podcasting that they're still doing with WVU. And so that was a whirlwind of 3 years for sure, and a blast, no doubt.
Now you go to North Dakota State in Fargo, North Dakota. I suspect that's even colder than Lincoln.
Jerry, I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you this. From October 1st through May 1st, it will never get warmer in Fargo than it is in Tallahassee. I can promise you that.
It's 102 today here.
So, Yeah, it's amazing. Lincoln wasn't bad. I mean, I grew up in South Dakota. I was 4.5 hours away from Lincoln, and I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what, I'm not a weatherman by any means, but you cross some line on the map as you're driving down I-29 to get to Lincoln or to Omaha, then over west on I-80, and the weather, the extreme weather definitely changed. But yeah, it is. The winters, they are as you think they are, to kind of quote a Denny Green quote to a certain extent. They are blistering. The wind cuts through you like a hot knife through butter, and you're going to get some big time snowfall. But man, there's great people up here. I'll tell you, it's a special place for sure.
Yeah, that whole Midwest has a really good vibe about it. Florida State had some great games against Nebraska.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's a wonderful area of the country to enjoy the College World Series. And
oh yeah.
So, well, you're going to come down here into the heat and the humidity. Are you ready for it? Is your wife ready for it?
We are. I was down there a couple of weeks ago for the site visit, talking and meeting with everybody, and yeah, it was definitely different, is how I would put it. But as we joked before, my wife Sarah and I have lived through 6 of these Fargo winters. Jerry, we'll take every percentage of humidity the Gulf of Mexico could throw at us. So we're excited. We're ready to go. We're ready.
About August 27th, I'll ask you that question again.
Yeah, I was joking with Tom Block yesterday. We were talking about that, and he had said he couldn't remember if a home game that early, in a college football season before. And he said, yeah, it's going to be a hot one, a muggy one that day. And I said, well, we're faces for radio, so maybe they'll let us take our shirts off in the booth. Nobody would want to see that, so probably not.
Well, I haven't met you in person yet, but I can assure you that I don't want to see Block.
Yeah, I hear you. You said it. I didn't. I did.
Hey, one other thing I wanted to take a little dive into you. I mean, who are you, and what? Tell me about yourself and your family.
Yeah, family starts with my wife Sarah. Couldn't do this without her. Her support. We met in Morgantown back in 2013 when I first arrived there, and got engaged at Niagara Falls. I knew for sure she wasn't going to come to Fargo with me without a ring on her finger, so had to make sure I locked that up. And got engaged in 2016. We got married in the summer of 2017, and 5 years of marriage coming up here in July, and now our second child. And so family means the world to me. My son Alexander just turned 3 Friday. He's already rocking the war chant, trying to get that down. So he's doing his best execution of that as we speak, and we're pulling up the pregame YouTube videos with Osceola and Renegade putting the spear at midfield, and he's all about it already. So we're off to a good start there. But yeah, they'll be coming with me, second child, any day now, as I told you, and we're just we're flooded with a lot of different emotions, obviously, and looking forward to meeting number 2. So it kind of starts with that, and then as far as the job, how it connects to the job. I pride myself on preparation, pride myself on the ability to capture the big moment, and being able to, illustrate to the people listening, if a play is made, how it's made, to the level of execution and athleticism that it's made at. And I was told by someone a while back who, had special needs, didn't have great eyesight. He said, when I listen, I enjoy your enthusiasm because, he said, I know how hard it is for those things to happen. And I've always taken that with me where, I'm not going to be a guy screaming and yelling all the time, but if something big happens, I want to make sure that I let people know that it was special. And, I can't wait to get in the booth and work with Bar None and pick his brain and his football mind, and certainly Tom on the sidelines. Those guys have just been outstanding over the years, and I'm looking forward to being a part of the team and getting in there for game one. And certainly that LSU game in New Orleans is going to be a doozy for sure, and one of the great games in college football this upcoming season.
Well, we're excited to get to talk to you today, and we just wish the best for you and your family as you go through this coming days. No,
thank you. I appreciate it, and I can't wait to meet you. And I know you're a guy that's been in the area down there, Seminole Boosters, and so I know you've got a special connection to Florida State as well. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you. If you need anything from me, Jerry, feel free to call, text, email. Let me know.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'll take advantage of that from time to time, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect.
All right. Well, what I'll do is I'd like to write this up as a story, and then I may run it also as like a podcast, if that's okay.
You bet. Okay. Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time, and look forward to seeing you. If you need anything, you have my phone number. I'm sure you have a lot of other people you can call for things, but if you need anything, let me know.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hey, Seminole fans! Tickets to Florida State football games are now on sale. Right now, you can pick up single game tickets, 3-game packs, and season tickets for the 2022 season. Home games include Florida, Clemson, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Boston College, Louisiana, and Duquesne. Have fun this football season with your friends and family, all the while knowing your ticket purchase is funding FSU's success. Call your ticket rep today at 850-644-1830 or visit Seminoles.com. That's Seminoles.com.
Hope you enjoyed this edition of the Osceola Podcast. Stay tuned for the next edition coming soon at theosceola.com.